Hey, it's Dave Benson here, and welcome to the very first week of your Sales Hustlers Inner Circle membership. We want to congratulate you for joining, and most importantly, we want to welcome you to the group, which is going to be an amazing 10-week journey. We want to, most importantly, run you through our blueprint. Sean Hayes has actually implemented this, and we're now training this and wanting to teach it to you because we know it's going to be as successful for you as it has been for Sean and many others that have already gone through this program. But what we wanted to do was every week, on top of our weekly masterminds that we do, we wanted to bring one video where we talk about a specific blueprint piece of the puzzle and walk you through what it is and how important that is. Just check below, there is a PDF download that you can follow along that's got the key points. It's also got an exercise, and it's also got your key challenges for the week. And so these will be in here every single week. What we do is we release one new video every single week so that you don't skip ahead, you don't jump to the sexy stuff of the video or the social media. But most importantly, we wanted to start this journey with getting the foundations right. So our aim from this video is that you understand what a sales hustler is, what it's going to need you to do in order to go to that next level. I think it was Winston Churchill that said the same level of thinking to get us to where we are currently won't get us to where we want to go. And so we want to go to new levels, and so we're going to need some new level of thinking. And that's the first point for today. If you're taking notes, the number one point of being a sales hustler, and the foundation for this course, is to change your mindset. Is to have an attitude, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. The reality is that you're in control of your own destiny. Don't just wait for us to just step you through the steps, or you need to take initiative. You need to realize that the automotive industry has so much potential in it. The average age of a car on the Australian roads is over 10 years, and I think it's even worse in the United States. That means there's a whole stack of people driving a whole stack of rubbish. They're driving old cars, which they shouldn't be. And so there is an unlimited potential for car sales in this year. There's no doubt that you can go to a whole nother level. So the number one point that I wanted to start off with today was challenging your mindset to go to that next level. Realizing that, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And really taking yourself from a mindset point of view to the next level. Point number two is believe for more. One of my favorite things to talk about is being unhappily content. I think if we're not content, then we're not happy, with our current life. We're always aiming towards the future, and we're not enjoying today. But being unhappily content means that you're content with where you are and you're happy with who you are as a person, but you're unhappy because you realize there's more potential inside of you. If we just stopped for a second and we realized how much potential we had inside of us, we could shock ourselves. To think that Sean Hayes started videos only a short time ago, to think that we had only started the Sales Hustlers group only a short time ago, to think that I was many years ago afraid of not just the camera but speaking in public, and now that's what I do. I want to encourage you to believe for more, to go to that next level, to realize that there is so many opportunities out there. That's point number two. Point number three is have big goals that stretch your thinking. See, I'd rather come up short on a massive goal than hit a mediocre goal. And so I encourage you, this exercise, there's an exercise on your PDF that encourages you to set some goals for the next 10 weeks. We want to take you to places that you haven't been, and in order to do that, you're going to have to set some stretch targets. And so I use the WORK principle. You might have heard of SMART goals or different ways of putting goals together, but I use WORK as an acronym. So the W stands for written. So we know that just from pure science point of view, you are more likely to achieve a goal when it's written down. When you put a pen to paper and you say, this is what I'm going to achieve in this time frame, and you look over that, there's no doubt you're going to be more successful because it's going to drive you to different behaviors and different activities. So that's the W, write your goals down. O stands for outrageous. In other words, we want them big goals. We don't want them achievable goals. Right? We want to really go to that next level, and I've said that already. The R stands for reinforced. So what I mean by reinforced is that you put these goals somewhere. you might put your written down goals. Now, your goals could be financial goals, your goals could be sales numbers, they could be a specific number of followers on a social media platform. It might just be to actually complete the steps. It might be to make more follow-up phone calls or to get more people coming in from repeat and referral business, whatever it might be. But it's really important to put those goals on your wall, on your desktop, on the background of your desktop, somewhere written down that you can look over those, meditate on those, and remind yourself of them daily. You know, I think that Zig Ziglar once said, he says, motivation doesn't last. And that's why we recommend it daily, right? It's like bathing, he said. He said it's like bathing because we recommend you do it daily. We recommend you motivate yourself, and the fastest way that you motivate yourself is to have a look over your goals. So set some big goals and write them down. That's the R. And the K stands for, this one's really technical, stands for kick butt. In other words, it's time to get some action steps. Because here's the thing about any goal. A goal without an action plan is just a fantasy. It's not the reality. It will never come to pass unless you have at least 3 specific and strategic action plans that you need to do in order to achieve that goal, right? So if it's a saving goal, for example, I want to save $50,000 by the end of the year, then what you're going to need to do is you're going to have some strategic goals of how you're going to either A, earn more money, B, save more money, right? And over the course of how many months? So how much money is that per month? Okay, so K, kick butt action steps. I encourage you to go over to the goals exercise on the PDF and start filling that out straight away. A sales hustler is one that sets massive goals, okay? Point number 4 is that remember that we don't wait for things to happen. We're not waiters, we're creators. Okay, so we've got to create things, and that's what social media, personal branding is all about, and probably why you embarked on the journey of the inner circle was to make sure that you had some strategies on how best to create opportunities. But here's the thing, you need to make more phone calls, you need to send more emails, you need to do more videos. Right? We don't wait for the next up bus to turn up, we create opportunities, right? So think about this. Your job in car sales used to be, maybe 10, 15 years ago when I started, nearly 17 years ago in the automotive industry, all you relied on was inquiry, that your dealership got you. Fresh leads, fresh ups, phone inquiries, internet inquiries, fax machines back then, pager notifications, or walk-in inquiry. And so that was the job of old. But I wanted you to see yourself as a real estate agent. And a real estate agent, you think about this, a real estate agent, they have to prospect. They have to create their own opportunities. They go door to door, they sit on the phone all day. I believe that 90% of a car salesman's job today, in today's market, needs to be about marketing, and 10% is about sales. So the difference between sales and marketing, sales is basically looking after the customers that you've already got, and marketing is going out and finding new ones. So I really encourage you with that one. Number 5, we work outside of our comfort zone. Okay, so what I mean by outside of our comfort zone is many of you are uncomfortable doing videos, and that's okay. And I want to challenge you that remember that quote that I said from Winston Churchill, the same level of thinking to get us to where we are won't get us to where we got to go or want to be. So the point of the exercise is to say, we are going to have to do things that are completely outside of your comfort zone. I want to encourage you, if you're not doing something that stretches you and forces you outside of your comfort zone by midday, 12 o'clock each day, then you ain't working smart enough. It's not about working hard enough. It's not about working harder in the things that you're comfortable in. It's about being uncomfortable, because when we're uncomfortable, when there's pressure, when there's that tension, we get better, we improve ourselves. Okay, so that's point number 5. Point number 6 is we help others on the journey. Part of developing the pods and this inner circle mastermind is that we all help one another. This academy and this mastermind, the inner circle program, is not about just Sean Hayes and Dave Benson being your coaches. That's not what it's just about. Yes, we'll do these videos. Yes, we'll do weekly masterminds where Sean will be on the calls. But most importantly, you get around other people, because what I've noticed in sales, especially with word tracks and strategies or implementing some some new ideas, is how you actually learn things is actually by helping others and training others. Right, so it's called the 5-step equipping process. This is something that's really, really powerful and not in your notes. Right, if you want somebody to do anything, right, this is a 5-step equipping process. This is great for leadership, right? And number 1 step is that I do it. Right, if I want somebody else to do it, I've got to do it first. Step number 2 is that I do it and they watch. Step number 3 is they do it and I watch. So it's not just, okay, you've seen me do it, now go off and do it. It's I want to observe and make sure that you're doing it right so I can coach you through the process. Step number 4 is that they do it by themselves. Right, so this is where they can work autonomously. They don't need your help to, send off an email. You don't need our help. This is where it's really important that we get you to in the first few weeks of the Inner Circle program, is to get you to stage 4, where you can do it all by yourself and you actually don't need our coaching. Obviously, that's a bit of a journey, so we're going to step you through. But point number 5 is when you do it, right, and you train somebody else. When you can teach some of these strategies, help other people, comment and like and give constructive criticism on videos in the pods, in the Inner Circle membership, that's where the real power of this mastermind group exists. Point number 6. That was point number 6. We help others on our journey. Point number 7, we improve ourselves daily. Obviously, by watching this video and by signing up for the Inner Circle, you want to improve yourself, and that's great. But don't just leave it to these videos. Don't just leave it to the masterminds. Make sure that you're reading a book, right? Or you're listening to an audio book, or you're enjoying something, on video or podcast, right? We have a Sales Hustlers podcast now because we want to make it accessible and easy for people to be inspired, to be motivated, and to improve themselves every single day. Right, so I want to challenge you at the start of this journey is, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to watch? What else are you going to read? What else are you going to do to improve your sales skills? Because here's the thing. Personal branding, video, and social media won't make a crap salesperson great. It just won't. What it does is personal branding, video, and social media amplifies what you are currently. So what we've got to do is we've got to make sure, and we want to help you on this journey, we want to actually help you make sure that you understand that you need to improve your closing techniques, you need to improve your persuasive skills, you need to improve your questioning techniques, building rapport. We want to help you on that journey. And if you check out the Sales Hustlers TV, which you all have lifetime access to, which is pretty cool if you didn't know. I want you to go in there and have a look at all the video modules, and that's a great place to start. So point number 7 is that we improve ourselves daily. Point number 8, we're masters of persuasion. If you want something in life, it's not just about asking for it, but it's about understanding that persuasion is what selling is all about. Selling, the definition, or my definition at least, the definition of selling is persuasion. It's not manipulating, it's not twisting people's arms, but what it is persuading them of the benefits and the merits of your product and service. It's also persuading them of why you're better and your product and service, your cars, are better than anybody else's are. It's also, persuasion is about helping customers overcome some of the fears that they have. A lot of customers are fearful about buying a car, and I can completely understand that. We've got a terrible rap in this industry. But most importantly, you become a master of persuasion. I think the most persuasive thing that I ever did was persuaded my wife to marry me. She's a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful girl when I met her. And there's no doubt she was a catch in my mind. Beautiful, long blonde hair. When I met her, she was 6'1". She still is 6'1". And I remember seeing her, I was in church, and I remember seeing her in church on the other side of the building, and I looked at her and I went, that's the sort of girl I want to marry. Like, not only was she beautiful, but you could see how she interacted with her friends. You could see, the bubbly smile and the laughter and the energy that she had in life. And so I had to be persuasive, right? Because maybe I've got more of a head for radio, but I had to persuade her, right, of why I was a good catch. I'm sure you, if you've got a partner, are in exactly the same boat. So become a master of persuasion. Think about the most common objections that you face all the time in your dealerships. How do you overcome them? I had to overcome a few obstacles in order to get my wife to marry. I still do. right? To keep the marriage together, you have to be good at persuasion. That's not manipulation. Remember, it's persuasion. Point number 9 is we do the stuff that other people aren't prepared to. We do the stuff, the 1%ers. We do the stuff like videos. We do the stuff like social media. We do the stuff like service drive, walking into the service drive, making people cups of coffee. We do the stuff like sending handwritten cards. We do the stuff like contacting people on their birthdays or remembering people's names and becoming really good at remembering people's names, using it, remembering their family and what football team they go for. All those little things help you to become a better salesperson and, most importantly, a better person overall. And so I want to encourage you. I've always said I'm bad with names. It's a terrible thing to say. The reason why it's a terrible thing to say is because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I want to break that habit saying that I'm bad with names. And you know what? It really comes down to the fact that if you're bad with names, you don't care enough. I want to be really brutally honest. Right? I remembered Melody Ironside, that was her maiden name. Right? It's now Melly Benson, the healthy hustler, right? But I remembered her name. I didn't forget it when I first met because I cared. Because I'm like, I want to use that. I want to get to know. I want to get her number, and I don't want to just get her number. I want to get her name so I can put it in the phone. Right? So don't say that you're bad with names. Don't say that you can't do that. Right? If it's meant to be, it's up to me. All right. Point number 10. This is a really powerful one. We manage our time effectively. Here's a really important step. I believe that most of you selling cars, right, regardless of how many hours you might work bell to bell right now, you need to be smarter with the time that you allocate to certain activities. Because I honestly believe that somebody can sell, and I've seen testimony after testimony of it in dealerships, sell 30 plus cars a month and not necessarily work bell to bell. Not necessarily work 50, 60, 70 hours a week. What it's about is finding out about some of the strategies we're going to talk about so that you generate leads while you sleep. So that's what it's about. It's about working harder. No, it's not. I nearly said the wrong thing. It's about working smarter, not necessarily harder. We're going to have to do both at the start, but we want to develop some strategies. Have a think about your time. In your dealership, how many hours do you waste every single day on silly activities, on things that aren't actually taking you to the next level? Things that aren't what I call key selling activities. Right? If I'm not focused on a key selling activity when I'm in a dealership, then I'm wasting my time. Right? That means water cooler conversations. That means, ordering the lunch that takes an hour and a half or doing those silly things. I'm not saying that you don't have to do yard changes and you don't have to sweep the snow off cars if you're up north. What I'm saying is think about how you can maximize your key selling activities every day. Here's a real key takeaway for you on this point, is I encourage you to find out what's the best 1 hour in the day that you can get people on the phone. Your town's going to be different to mine. Your demographic is going to be different to somebody else's in the group. But I always looked at it when I was at a dealership, between 9 and 10 and between 5 and 6 was the best time that I could get people on the phone. And so I want to give you a little challenge, which is not on the PDF, for you to actually just, every time that you make a phone call, right, within a certain hour and it gets answered, right? So test it out over the course of the day. When it gets answered, make a note in that hour. And the more phone calls that you get answered in a certain hour, pick that as what I call the hour of power. Right? The hour of power is where you are going to focus on making all your phone calls. I literally told my salespeople at the last dealership that I managed that they literally, for that 1 hour, which we knew was 9 till 10, and then one later in the afternoon, 5 till 6, they had to staple their ass to the chair and not move. They were making phone calls for 1 solid hour. So what it's about working is working and understanding your demographic and finding what that time is. I want to ask you the question. When you're at work, when you're at the dealership, you've got to challenge yourself with this. Is this activity that I'm doing right now, is it making me money or is it costing me money? Because there's only one of two things. It's either making me money or it's costing me money. If I get stuck doing admin, and yes, at the moment you don't want to see my studio, you don't want to see my office because it's a mess. But the reality is, and I know, a clean desk is a more productive desk. I get that. But right now, when I'm packing up to come to the United States to do some Sales Hustlers events, the last thing I need to be doing is spending hours not doing videos, not doing preparation, and cleaning up my office, right? So is this making me money or is it costing me money? That's point number 10. Number 11 is we stay accountable. We're going to stay accountable to not just us, Sean and myself as coaches, but also to our pod members. It's very easy to get excited in the first couple of weeks and go, I'm going to go full on in this inner circle. And then 3, 4, 5 weeks comes down the track and, I dropped the ball and, no one was giving me accountability. Hey, accountability is up to you to make sure that you're posting, that you're encouraging others, that you're keeping others accountable so that they can keep you accountable. So I really encourage you to fill out these goals, the goal exercise on the right-hand side, but also this week's challenges to complete those and let your pod know that you have, or even if you're struggling, let us know, send us an email and we can help you out on that journey. But we want to make sure that you stay accountable to the 10-week process. And the last point number 12 for today's videos, by the way, these will normally go around 20 minutes, so they won't take you too much time to consume every single week. Point number 12 is we focus on improving our health and relationships on the journey. We leave no one behind. We want to make sure that a sales hustler is a healthy hustler. There's no doubt, Melly with all of her videos that we do and with the Dave and Melly show, our aim for that is to take you further, faster with your energy. And what we're trying to do is understand and help you realize that your energy is going to be so important to you over the course of the next 10 weeks. If you're going to burn yourself out and stay up all night, which I do occasionally for different seasons, but most importantly, if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not focused on the right foods, if you're not focused on building your relationships at the same time, and you're running this, crazy full-on social media campaign and business and all this sort of stuff, everything's going to be out of balance. And so I don't like the term work-life balance. I more like just build the life that you want. Because it's not a balance. What it is saying, I'm going to throw everything in there and I'm going to proportion them in the right way. I'm going to focus on all of them at the same time. I want to encourage you. This week it may not be the sexy week. It may not be even the week that you thought that we would start with. We'd start with social media, we'd start with video or something like that. And I know you all want to get to your titles, taglines, logos, all that exciting stuff, websites, it's all coming, right? You can check out in the inner circle on my portal, you can check out the 10 steps and what we're going to do. But here's the thing, sometimes you're actually faster when you go slower. How do you build a house? You've got to get the foundations right. Well, I want to encourage you with the right mindset. I want to encourage you to believe for more. I want to encourage you to have the right goals. I want to encourage you to remember that we create, we don't wait for things. I want to encourage you to think about your time and how you manage that. And I want you to remember that we leave no one behind on this journey. We build a balanced, sustainable life that works smarter and harder, but most importantly, that we enjoy everyday life. I'm Dave Benson. I hope this Inner Circle Mastermind, it's not the mastermind, this is the weekly video, but hopefully this has been of great benefit. Make sure that you provide some feedback in the Facebook group. I'm sure you're already part of that. Make sure you complete the goals exercise that is on your downloadable PDF. You can print it out. Alternatively, you can just complete it on your computer and save a copy. Put your comments in the pod about how you're going with the challenges, because here's my 3 challenges. And I want to finish with this. The 3 challenges for this week. Here they are. Number 1 is to watch this video, which you're already doing, and get familiar with both the online training portal that we have, the Facebook group, and also the pods. The second challenge for this week is to complete the goals exercise above on the PDF. That's nice and simple. That'll get you inspired. Print it out, put it up on the wall, and let's set some 10-week goals about what you want to achieve. And number 3 is to download my book. Where is my book? I haven't even got a copy of it right now. That's because they're all sold out. But I did give you access to the audio version and the PDF version of my book called 100 Days of Sales Greatness. That will help you understand my favorite top 100 phrases to help you be more persuasive in sales. Right? So remember, we want to get the foundations right. I'd love you to the audio book only goes for like 2.5 hours. If you can consume that this week, that's a massive or a great way to start. this program. Okay, sales hustlers, it's time to get started on your worksheet. It's time to get stuck into the week. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you on next week's video.